You ready? Thunderbird. The giant bird whose wing beats make thunder. According to the Northwest American native folklore,
They just condensed like 12 tribes into Northwest Native American folklore.
yes, 12-ish tribes mushed together to the region.
It's like, according to French, German, Dutch,
According to half of Europe.
That's what that says. It's the same statement. But yes, continue.
The Thunderbird is the greatest of all spirit animals. His eyes burn with fire, and lightning bolts flash out of them. He's so huge and strong that he can pluck a whale out of the sea and carry it through the sky, as an eagle carries a fish. Some say the Thunderbird lives on a faraway floating mountain on the other side of the ocean. Others say he lives in a cloud. He stores his whale meat under the glaciers of the Olympic Mountains in a deep ice cave. The Thunderbird causes great thunderstorms, deadly lightning, and whirling winds. But the storms also bring rain, which waters land and helps the crops to grow. And when humans are in trouble, the Thunderbird may come to the rescue. He's so cute. Thunderbird and the Whale. This story comes from the Quileute. How do you think? Quileute?
Yeah, looks right.
Quileute people who live in the northwestern United States near the Pacific Ocean. Thousands of years ago, they say, the world was icy cold. And for the Quileute, one winter was even worse than the rest. Storm after storm ripped through their lands. Hail the size of rocks hammered down, and blizzards battered their villages for days on end. So terrible was the weather that they could not go hunting or fishing, and they gradually began to starve. At last the snow stopped falling, the ice began to melt, and the wind died down a little. When the people emerged from their shelters, they saw their villages wrecked and their lands laid waste, the plants and trees all destroyed. How could they rebuild everything when they were so weak with hunger, filled with despair? Oh, there, Achilles. Filled with despair, they prayed to the Great Spirit to help them. As they looked out across the ocean, they saw huge dark clouds gathering in the sky. They were horrified, fearing yet another terrible storm. The sound of deep, loud thunder rumbled across the bay. Thunder rumbled across the bay. And flashes of lightning darted from the clouds. The people trembled and wept, and some clung to one another in terror, while others ran back to their shelters. Soon the looming storm clouds were almost above the seashore, where the people stood, and the air shook with the booming thunder. The sky was dark, lit only by spectacular lightning bolts. But just as the people were about to give up hope, the clouds in the sky drifted apart, and the shape of a vast bird could be seen emerging from the storm. Its wingspan was as wide as the whole bay. Each of its feathers was the size of one of their canoes. It was the Thunderbird himself. Dun, dun, dun. The people fled, running to hide behind the pine trees that lined the shore. They turned to see a sight of such wonder that they could barely believe their eyes. Gripped tightly in the Thunderbird's claws was a huge whale, plucked out of the distant ocean. Deafening wing beats echoed around the sky as he flew closer, hovering above them. Then the Thunderbird suddenly let go of the whale, and it fell through the air, landing on the shore with a great thud that shook the earth. Letting out an almighty screech, "Ah!" the Thunderbird flapped his wings, turned around, and flew back up into the clouds. The storm drew back across the ocean, the wind calmed, and the sound of thunder faded into the distance. The people went down to the beach where the dead whale lay.